Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Commodities Weekly Brief. This is where we do technical analysis on natural gas, oil, US dollar, gold, and silver. So we'll be looking at their support and levels as well as what's the most likely scenario where I think price might head into there next week. And we have a lot to talk about, so let's get started. And if you guys are looking for the overall stock market video, as well as the stock market sentiment, all that kind of technical analysis, and as well as the 7 mega cap tech stocks, Tesla, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Apple, NVIDIA. Check out the previous video. All right, so natural gas on the daily time frame at the moment. We're looking at the B80J adjusted chart. Go to the bottom left-hand corner here. See this B80J adjusted for contract gaps. Then your chart will look like mine. So let's start with the daily chart first. So we are still looking at this resistance. Very clear. This is the 7 times rejected from it, and this is probably the 7 times as well it bounced from here. So we're still looking at this falling wedge overall in the bigger picture, but for now, let's zoom in a little bit here. You can see after we rejected here, we are still trading a little bit within striking distance of this range, versus every other time we kind of just hit it and then we've kind of fell. Right? It's like a waterfall here as well. We never really had that chance to back test it. So after this move here on Friday, I think that we might test it again. So we'll see if we can test it again and break above it or not. So we zoom into the smaller term time frame. Let's go to the 15-minute. Actually, let's go to the hourly. So right now we are pretty much just in an equilibrium. So which means it's a tiny range, big move up, big move down, big move up, big move down, and each move is within the prior move. So it gets smaller and smaller. So this is what a tiny range usually is, equilibrium. And so we'll wait to see which way this ends up breaking. This could come a little bit higher and just kind of shy of that, a little bit below that, and it might go tighten up a little bit. So the indication of an equilibrium bull break or a bear break is just it breaks the prior pivots, right? So, right, this initial move up, this is the pivot. This is a move down, that's the pivot. Now this is the pivot. This is the pivot. And if this keeps going up and it decides to break this pivot, right, that's a bull break of this equilibrium. Or it decides it doesn't get too high and then comes back down, right, and it decides to tighten up. Again, continuing before it decides to break. Then once it breaks one of these pivots, then it will be a break. So we'll be watching this break in terms of which way it ends up breaking. And we are in this striking distance, like I said, with that major daily resistance overall that we've been forming for probably years. Not years, I think 1.5, something like that. But as long as that bulls are consolidating right underneath it, there's a chance we may test this. And if we start breaking these pivots, these 2 pivots, and bull break above out of this equilibrium, then there's a good chance we might actually break bull out of this, longer term falling wedge, which has been forming since, let's just say here, October 23. So it's been a year and some month. So that's what I'm currently looking at for natural gas overall. And so far, I wouldn't say anything you need to worry about if you're a bull that you add it down here at this moment, unless it, this bear breaks from this tightening range equilibrium here. So we'll see what Monday brings. All right, let's take a look at oil. Oil, still no edge for me, and similar idea, tightening range. It's just too tight at the moment for me to trade it. All right, this is the support, this is the resistance, and we also have horizontal support as well. Overall, and right now, if you just zoom in, right, it's just chop up one day, down another day, up here, down again. So it's very, very, very choppy here, and it's forming another smaller tiny range here. Let's see, in the big one, there's another smaller one inside. So you can see it's getting super, super tight right now. So yeah, maybe we'll get something resolve, and then we get some kind of a bull break or bear break. Then we can start playing it. But for now, no edge on terms of oil, and it's very geopolitical sensitive as well. So it's kind of hard to play at this given moment, given how tight it is. Yeah, we'll see which ends up breaking. And let's take a look at the US dollar. So it looks like US dollar is topping out a bit. I wouldn't say this is, yeah. So this is the first sign that bears are doing something here because they broken the daily uptrend. So these are pivots. We go up, right? This is one move up, higher low being set, higher high. So now that's the pivot. Higher low being set right there, higher high. So daily uptrend continuing right there. But this is the first time bears crack through this pivot. So now it's in a neutral trend for me. So for me, on the next bounce, can the bears confirm a daily downtrend and have a bigger move back down closer to this area 104 zone for me would be the question. So yeah, for now, bears seem to be back a little bit, and that's the first sign once we crack this pivot. And also, this 108 was, you know, a clear support over here on the way up, and now it's acting as resistance around here. So, which is this structure right here. And of course, as the dollar weakens, it's good for metals. So if this continues to go down, it should be good for gold and silver. And it's also good for bonds. You guys trade bonds, CB or TLT. But yeah, so far let's zoom into the 1 hour SC. So yeah, no signs of bounce yet for now. 1 hour downtrend still intact. Very clear hourly downtrend. So once we get the hourly uptrend confirmed, then that might be where we get that daily bounce, and then we'll see how far it bounces. If it's a weak bounce, then we're looking for that daily downtrend. If it's a strong bounce, we V-shape all the way up to potentially, 107, then we may look for that equilibrium tightening range where we get a big move up, big move down, and it decides to tighten our flag up here. So those are the two scenarios I'm looking at, depending on how much this bounces once we get the hourly uptrend confirmed. But for now, no signs of the hourly uptrend confirming at all yet. So we'll see how far bear takes it down. And let's take a look at gold. So gold is just forming an equilibrium as well. So lots of equilibriums, big move up, big move down, big move up, big move down, and it's just kind of grinding right on the support line. So we'll have to see where it ends up breaking out here. It continues to go up a little bit and reject from there and kind of just grind in within here, or we end up breaking one of these pivots, right? If it breaks this low, 2605, right, then that's a daily downtrend confirm, and we're as well as a bear break out of that equilibrium. We're likely going to come down to test this 2560 line for me. And then if we break that, we're looking at this pivot here, 2536, which is held by this support, right? This entire structure here was resistance, 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 held there, right there on support. So that's a must hold for bulls. And if we want a bull break here, we need to break above, obviously, 2670, sorry, 2700. And then we got to break above this pivot around 2721 for a bull break out of this tiny range. And then if that happens, then we may potentially look for all-time high again if we can crack above 2743, around this 2750, 2743 level for me right here. Crack through this level, then we're probably going to test all-time highs. But for now, still a lot of work for bulls to do, right? We don't really have a daily uptrend at this moment. And this is just one move straight up, and then boom, this is the higher low being set, and let's see if they can make the higher high by cracking this as well. Same thing for bears, right? This was a little daily downtrend here, but we cracked above it, so now it's in a neutral trend. And bears have a big move down, so can they confirm a daily downtrend by breaking this pivot at this moment? So it's, just tiny range battle zone for bulls and bears to see which way who confirms the daily trend first at this given moment. All right, let's take a silver. Silver is, let's see, silver, it's doing okay. It's also just kind of bear flagging down here. You can see gold pretty much retrace half of its move of this drop, right? But silver is bear flagging at the moment on the weekly. So it's a weekly bear flag, and we really want to see it resolve. And it's getting close, right? You can see resistance, 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 very clear. Kind of tiny range as well, support, support, support. So it's kind of like following gold, but at the bottom of the range as it tightens up. So we have to see if gold ends up breaking bull out of that equilibrium. Gold ends up breaking bull out of that equilibrium, then silver has a chance to negate this bear flag. But if gold, weakens and breaks, pivots, and bear breaks from that equilibrium, then silver will likely confirm this bear flag. So we have to keep an eye watch on silver and gold. Keep an eye watch on gold for that tiny range to break. All right, that's it all for you guys. If you guys learned anything, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And check out the YouTube if you guys are looking for any kind of mentorship or techno analysis on how to better understand the market overall. Check out the Patreon link on YouTube, and have a great rest of you guys' weekend. And I'll update you guys more on the stock market and commodities next week.